Okay, how subject to change got started. So, if you're a Duke fan, this story's for you. If you're not, then here we are. Uh, Duke plays Carolina. This is February 2004. Zach Hawkins and I decide to watch the game at our friend Karen's house. She had a big screen TV, the floor model, the big joint. Her brother had it in the grandma's house over by Central. We watched the game, and Duke beat Carolina. So we decide to go to the bonfire. Now, we're both. Well, I think Zach had one more year in grad school, but now I'm out of grad school. I had my master's, and I was doing nothing, so I was really up to no good. And we decided to go to the bonfire, and we ran into two of our friends, Nakia and Kelly. Nakia's a Delta from Duke, so that matters because we know each other. She used to date my line brother Glenn. Um, so we're just chatting it up, and some guy walks by with a shirt that said, "For a good time, call this number." And we joked for a moment, but then Nakia says, "Look, I started a company, a T-shirt company." And I'm like, "Really? Can I be down?" And now remember, I'm not doing anything. I have a master's degree. I have a Mustang that I'm paying for with some. I was working for one of those companies where you work with the kids in the school. You have to go with the kid into school. And I asked the kid I be down, and she said no. And that was in February, but she called me back in June and said, "If you're still interested, we'd like you to come work with us." So the company was Nakia, Jamie, and Kelly. And we hit the ground running. And that was in June 2004. We never looked back. Our first customer was Neal Middle School cheerleaders. And we did some cheerleading shirts and shorts for the girls. Our biggest customer at the time was the sound machine. So we had a huge order with the sound machine. We messed up that first order. Jerome knows this. We did a front, back, and sleeve. We messed up the font on the front, and he said, don't worry about it. So, that was 200 shirts that we had to press, and we're at it. So we had a first heat press machine, and we're going. For years, we at it. Nakia decides to go back to graduate school at Fordham. So she left Kelly and I. We moved the business from their apartment on Adele Way to Kelly's apartment. It's a lot going on, but her boyfriend Greg is my chapter brother. Greg goes to the war. So we have now an apartment where you don't have to pay rent because the government is paying his rent. So we move into his apartment, and now it's on the third floor, so I have to carry our boxes up to the third floor and print these shirts and take them down. It's a lot going on. And then we move out of that apartment, and Kelly gets her own apartment. We move the business into her space. So now it's just Kelly and I. And at this time, my cars are acting up. I had two trucks. I had a white piece of crap and another gray piece of crap. And they were both dying out on me. So I was getting around by my girlfriend. Her name happened to be Nakia. Nakia Hansen helped me out. I took her car and would drive back and forth from Kelly's house to produce these shirts. Now, this is 2006 at this time. And Kelly and I went through an issue where I couldn't get into her apartment at the time, but she was in there, so she had a breakdown. And then we decided, look, we need to move this to my apartment. And now this is late 2006 going into 2007, so we're in my apartment now. Now I'm a full-on entrepreneur, got my car repossessed. My Mustang was repossessed. I was working with the Durham Bulls. I thought I made it. And that internship ended. So I learned how to sell from the Durham Bulls. I thank them for that opportunity. And the car was repossessed November 2005. So now, this goes back to Nakia Hansen helping me out. Yeah, I was using her car to get around. It was late that year when we decided, look, 2007, that we should look for office space because we have to separate Jamie from the company. There needs to be space between the business and then my personal life because I was doing shirts and still having parties at my apartment. So we went and looked around Durham for some office space, and we found one space we thought we liked. That wasn't available, and then we finally got the space over at Guest Road. And we had 103, we had spot 103, but then we went to pay the deposit. It said 103 is not available, but you can have 102. It just became available. So the guy who had 103 was a realtor. So that lets you know what's about to happen in 2008. We move in, and I'm still driving my mom's. My mama let me, shout out to my mama, she let me get her old truck, her old mail truck to move around. Not a real mail truck, but a rodeo to, make deliveries and do stuff. So it was working for a while, but then it just stopped working. And I was riding my bike on the freeway to work. I didn't know any better. It sounds crazy, but yeah, I was riding my bike on the freeway. I would get on my bike and put my backpack on and ride on 40. My office was one exit up from my apartment, and I didn't think anything of it until somebody told me, like, you riding your bike? And who comes to the rescue? My line brother, Philip Terry, decides to sell me his car. He and his wife became a one-car family so I could get their car, that second car. I drove that Ford Focus for 5 years until it broke down. So Keon and Philip are another reason why we're here. So much help coming, but it was because I needed it, and they saw that I was doing my job, but that thing had to happen. I was riding my bike, and I didn't ask for help. I was like, I didn't know any better. I'm gonna do this. I was locked in. We had customers coming, but hell, I just couldn't get to work. And that's what it took. But they sold me that car. I had to pay them, pay the car note. They basically didn't make any profit. You take the car, you pay the car note, it's yours. And we'll be a one-car family just so you can have a car. So, like I said, I took that car up and down the East Coast, taking it to different events, selling, and then fast forward from 2000, and that was the thing, that was 2008 to 2018, I fell in love. Got a girlfriend, got a new girlfriend. I dropped the last one and put her through dental school, and then I got with Miss Faith Bynum, and here we are. I moved from Durham for love to Raleigh, to a space right off of 6th Fort. It's a really nice space, small, about 500 square feet. And I thought nothing of it. I'm like, well, I'm here now. This is the best I'm gonna do. This 500 square feet. I have a wall between me and my secretary, or me and my business administrator. So a lot is happening. And I'm sorry, I skipped over the part where this young lady hired herself at my other office in Durham. Miss Laurel Thatcher called me and emailed me to say, look, I need a job. And at the time I asked my partner, how do I even do this? We don't know how to hire people. She said, just hire her, just give her a shot. And Miss Laurel told me the cost. She said, look, you can only pay me $8 an hour and I can only work, what was it, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays? No, yeah. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I can only work from 9 to 2, because if I work any longer, 10 to 2, it'll mess up my Social Security. Miss Laura was maybe late 60s, and she worked with us for a good 5 years until I moved to Raleigh. So I don't want to skip over that. It was very important because I didn't know how to hire. Got to Raleigh, and as soon as we got into the office, COVID hit. So I'm thinking, what are we gonna do now? But I didn't like that spot because COVID happened when I just got into the spot, so I felt like it was jinxed a little. And luckily, we were only there for a year, and we hired one employee. That didn't quite work out. And then we got Mindy Wynn, and oh my God, she is a godsend. She's our business administrator, and then my wife told me, look, you're gonna have a business administrator and you're gonna have a graphic designer in under a year. I'm thinking like, what? I do all the graphics. No, you're gonna have a graphic designer. Here we are. I have a graphic designer, Miss Taylor Little, and she does an amazing job. She's fast, she knows what she's doing. So I have a full-on staff now, and we just moved into 5800 Farrington, which is a story unto itself. But that's for another time. And that's the story of Subject to Change.